Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Ro. I'm a content creator, project manager, and healthy productivity fanatic. And today I'm gonna do a video that so many of you requested. I am going to give you a full tour of my Notion. I'm gonna show you my Notion dashboard, all of my Notion pages. We're gonna walk through them. I'm not gonna do a full deep dive. I'm planning to do a full deep dive on all of the segments of my Notion in like separate videos because some of the templates I'm using are very extensive and there would be no way that I can fully cover them. So basically, this is just an overall walkthrough of my Notion dashboard, how I use Notion to organize my life, to never forget anything, how I use it as a content creator, how I use it as a project manager, and basically all of those things together. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss all of the in-depth videos. And I'm also selling my Notion templates. I put a link in the description box down below. And for the full month of December, my goals template is actually completely free. So if you want to get started setting your goals for 2024, this is your perfect moment. And without further ado, let's just get started with the tour. So when you open my Notion dashboard or my main Notion page, this is what you see. This is my home hub. For the purpose of this video, I've created a copy of this homepage, or like a copy of my full database, where I added a little playground icon, and I changed the name for the simple reason that I want to be able to play around and show you things in this video, but I don't obviously want to mess up my entire system, so ignore the playground icon. Imagine a cute cat that you saw in the beginning, but apart from that, the entire database is the exact same. And my philosophy for setting up my Notion basically was that I want it to look cute, but I don't want it to look overwhelming. If I need to use this every single day, I need to find the balance between like aesthetics and organization, which is honestly, it's not an easy balance to find because it's really easy in Notion to add like all kinds of cute pictures and GIFs. And in some pages, I've definitely done that, but I also wanted to make sure that it still looked like something that wasn't distracting me from the purpose that I was using it for. So that's kind of what I tried to implement in all of my pages. And one of the main reasons that I have a full home dashboard like this, instead of a dashboard where it actually has like my tasks or any upcoming things, is because I don't want the homepage to be distracting. I want the homepage to be a place where I can just immediately navigate to whatever I need at that point in time. So I'm gonna show you the different build-ups and then we're gonna click through the pages. So first I have this little, I wouldn't really say it's a quote, but these are like 3 things. They've been here for the entire year. And I think when I'm gonna do my 2024 dashboard, because I usually update these yearly, I might actually change what it says here, but these are 3 things that I wanted to kind of keep in mind for the whole year of 2023. So it's discipline, consistency, and kindness, and that is towards everything I do in life. So I want to be disciplined when it comes to my content creation, when it comes to my job, but at the same time, that's kind of the opposite of that is kindness. I also want to be kind to myself. I want to give myself the space to relax, to do fun stuff, to not always work. And then consistency is kind of in the middle because it balances the two. I want to be disciplined to be consistent with everything that I do, but I also want to be kind and give myself a day off. So like those 3 together, personally for me, form a balance. I really like that this is just, it's a small reminder of what I want to embody for a whole year. So I think in 2024, it will probably be something slightly different. Then below that, you see a quick notes. This is actually a link to my full notes and knowledge dashboard, which I will also walk you guys through. But the reason I have it here is because very often in my job, whether that be in my content creation or whether that be in my project management job, I'm doing something, whatever that may be, and I need to write a quick note. You know that moment when you like usually grab a little post-it and you just scribble something down? I put it in here, and the notes that show up here are the notes that are not linked to a specific notebook. So anything I just quickly need to scribble down, I can just dump it here, I can create a new note, and then later I can decide which notebook it should go to, what kind of note it is, but it's basically just for myself to make the process of taking notes easier. Because I noticed as soon as there is a little threshold for me to create notes, as in I have to navigate to the right notebook and up front I have to remember what kind of note it is, I will not write it down. I'll be like, you know what, I can remember it. So this for me personally has been a huge help this year because one of the things I wanted to do more consistently is write things down because I trusted my brain far too much. I kept thinking, oh, I'll remember everything. No, you won't. So I decided to make a little quick notes box over here. You can also see that I use the call out boxes a lot to kind of drag things into to give them a little bit of separation from each other. I really like that you can put pages or like databases in call outs. So that's a big tip for if you want to make your Notion look clean and aesthetic. This is a huge, huge help and it has been a huge help for me. building this Notion database. Then secondly, I have pinned pages. These are basically either linking to pages that are not in this specific dashboard. So for instance, my RosannaTxt info page is basically my website, but to be able to quickly access it from here, I have a little link to the page. And the second one is my templates. Like I said, I've been building templates, but this is like my central place where I manage all of my templates. So if I click on it, you can see that I have my 2023 templates. These are all the templates that I'm currently selling, of which, like I said, the simple intentions and goals template is completely free for the entire month of December. So feel free to pick it up if you want to. And then for 2024, I've already made a little box in here that if I want to create templates next year, I can store them over here. And this allows me to easily manage my templates and publish these pages without them living in my actual database, because then obviously I would have to publicize my entire database, which is not something that I want. But for me, this allows me to quickly access it from my home dashboard still. Then the middle row, we can see my productivity center. This is something that is very, very new to my Notion. If you guys have watched my productivity system video that came out like 2 months ago, this wasn't here. Because I've been experimenting with doing all of my to-dos, like my task management and my project management in Notion. I've been using Todoist for the past, I would say like 11 years, 10 years at least. And I was curious to see if I could challenge myself to use Notion as my task management system for a month. So I will probably be doing a comparison video between Todoist and Notion and which of the ones I like for which situation. Somewhere in 2024, so if you don't want to miss that video, make sure to hit that subscribe button because this is going to be an interesting one. I can tell you, if you're looking for the best place to manage your to-dos, this video is going to be of massive help because I've already had some very interesting lessons learned and some interesting workarounds that I had to figure out when using Notion, but there's also some huge benefits for when it comes to using Notion compared to Todoist, so you don't want to miss that video. Then secondly, I have my work section. So basically this contains my 2 jobs. So that's my content creation and my work dashboard. I work as a project manager at an IT company. And next to that, I create content on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I have 2 YouTube channels and I live stream. So that's a whole lot to manage and to keep on top of. Then thirdly, I have my knowledge hub, which contains all of my notes and knowledge storage. I'm kind of differentiating between notes that I take, which are just quick storage moments of information where I need to write something down or where I'm like writing notes on a meeting that happened. And then my knowledge hub, I kind of see as notes that I want to keep for longer purposes. So it's kind of information storing. When you're studying, I think most of the things you're doing is knowledge storing because you're like summarizing books or you're like taking notes in a course and you need to reference those later. Whereas I feel like note taking is more for, I need to jot this down really quickly right now because I need to come back to it in like a relatively short period of time, so in the coming week, but I don't need it 6 months from now. So that's kind of the differentiator I made, and you will see also when I click on the dashboard later and I will show you around how I differentiate between the two, because it is one database. I put everything in the same place, but I use a little filter to separate the two from each other so that I can kind of filter out the notes that I will probably need long term. And then over here, I have my personal and my other. Personal is my intentions and goals. So that's something that I heavily use in the last month of the year and the first month of the next year, where I set my intentions and goals, where I do like my yearly review. However, that is a page that I refer back to, but I don't often actively use throughout the year. Then I have my journal, which in my case is heavily focused on my physical health because I've been having some health issues. So I wanted to make sure to write down how I've been feeling. And that is also where I do my weekly reviews that I've been speaking about in my productivity video. So I'm going to show you that dashboard as well, or like the dashboard. I keep calling everything a dashboard, but I think my journal is just a journal page. Then I have my experience dashboard, which is, I mentioned this in my productivity video as well, a page that I'm really, really proud of. And I also managed to make a template out of this. So I'm going to walk you through this. This will definitely need a full video on its own because it's such an extensive dashboard that I can show you like the surface of it and show you what I use it for, but how it's built up and all of those things will come in a separate video at a later point. Then we have my finance dashboard, which basically contains all of my personal finances. My business finances are actually in my content creation dashboard because they feel a bit more like work to me. I need to be more on top of my business finances than my personal finances, but this basically contains my budget for the next year. And next year, I also have a goal for myself that I really want to track my spendings a bit more. I feel like I'm quite on top of my spendings, but at the same time, I think I could be a little bit wiser and make some smart decisions at some point. So I'm going to be tracking my finances next year, and I've already prepped my dashboard for it. And then other is basically a mobile dashboard. I made a little mobile version of my quick notes, of my daily journal, and all of those things to be able to access it on my phone and make sure that it looks a bit better, because Notion, obviously, it is an adjustable page. So as soon as I were to open this page on mobile, everything would shift and it looks horrendous. So I just decided to build myself a little mobile dashboard that represents the things that I would need to go on my phone. I can still use the entire Notion dashboard if I needed to. And then lastly, I have my archive. I can click on my archive. It's actually kind of an interesting page to start with because it shows how much iterations I have done to get to the point where I am now. So I prefer to not delete any pages in my Notion. I prefer to kind of just store them here so that I ever need them for later reference or anything. I put them here. These are not pages that are like, oh, I want to reflect on them later. So I think my 2023 goals, for instance, I'll keep them within my goals and intents section. I'll just move them to a separate page there because that's still the system that I'm using. So this is literally everything from my old systems. Everything that I no longer use, all of the dashboards that I used at one point where I moved my information away from it and to a new place. As you can see, there's a lot of pages here. And these are all pages that at one point or another in the past, I would say 2.5 to 3 years, I at one point used in Notion. So this is, I think, a good preface for the rest of the video. Anything you see, this took me 2.5 years to get to. And you can totally take the shortcut by downloading templates from people and getting better at using Notion by just doing it a lot. But also give yourself some slack if you want to build your own Notion dashboard fully from scratch, because it's okay if it takes time. That is completely logical. And it also takes a lot of experimenting to figure out what works for you and what works for your brain. So let's actually start with my daily dashboard. This is a dashboard that shows me everything that I have to do today. And fun story, I'm doing this right now, so I can move that to doing. This contains a little quick entry of my today's journal. So whenever I want to log a journal entry for today, I can do that here. It also shows all of the notes that I've created today. So basically, whenever I'm doing my work and I create all of those quick notes, or even if I already clean them up and put them in one of my notebooks, they will show up here so that anything I've written down today, I can easily reference. We have my task board, which contains all of the tasks that I have to do today. So this is all of the things that are still in my to-dos. And then as you can see, I can move them through the columns depending on their status. The one that I've hidden is incoming, because basically incoming is my backlog of things that I want to do someday, that I haven't assigned a date to, that I need to pick up at one point. But these are very strongly linked to my project, so I'll get back to that in a little bit. But this is my today's task, so anything that has a due date for today. Then I also have today's overview. Here you can quickly see anything that is happening today. This comes from my experience dashboard and my content creation dashboard. So this daily dashboard thing contains information from multiple databases across my whole Notion system. So you can see what kind of content I'm releasing. So today I'm doing a stream for November. I'm doing a huge charity event. Well, when you're seeing this video, the charity event is over. I did a huge charity event for the whole month of November. And today I'm doing a stream. If I have any videos that are going live, any Twitter posts, any TikToks, anything that I've scheduled in my content creation dashboard will show up here if it is airing today. So that allows me to quickly say, hey, what is coming up today? Is there anything I need to extra post about? Is there anything I need to check, etc. Then we have my events. The Movember fundraiser on Twitch is ongoing for the entire month. So every day for November, it will show up here. And then as soon as the event is over, it will actually disappear from this view. I can still see it through my experience dashboard, but right now I can see this is an ongoing event for the whole month. If I had any trips that were starting today or were currently ongoing, they would also show up here. So this is also really nice when I'm traveling. This allows me a very quick access to any ongoing trip where I have stored information for. And then lastly, we have concerts and festivals. If I have a festival ongoing or if I have a concert coming up today, it will also show up here. These three all come from my experience dashboard, and this one comes from my content dashboard. So basically that allows me to very quickly see what actually is happening today. And then I have my ongoing projects. So these are all the projects that are currently at where the dates are set to be within this period. So that's my daily dashboard, and it allows me a really quick peek into what I have to do today or what is happening today. Then we have my task management dashboard, which is, again, it has a very similar overview. So it has my tasks for today, but here I can also see my tasks for the whole week. So I have 2 tabs, anything that I still have to do. So as you can see, Monday and Tuesday are completely empty because I have done all the tasks. If I still want to reflect on what I've done in a whole week, I can go to the All tab and it will show me all of the things that I've done. As you can see, yesterday was a very busy day. So I did a lot of work. So that's why I have the separate to-do tab. So throughout the week, this gets a little bit cleaner because every single time something is done, I can tick it off and it will remove itself from this overview. I also have a little button here that says schedule weekly recurring tasks. I will click it to show you guys what happens. I have a lot of tasks that happen every single week. And I know that Notion has a feature where you can schedule recurring tasks. I also have a couple of those, as you can see. All things that repeat monthly, I have put in here. However, everything that repeats weekly, they sometimes move day. So they're not always on the same day, which immediately breaks the whole recurring system that Notion has. And at the same time, I don't want to wait until they show up because the tasks that are put on recurring, they will only be created at like 12, so midnight, the day starts. So that means that whenever I'm doing a weekly review or I'm prepping for the week to come, I won't be able to see those tasks yet. And every single time a day starts, I will be surprised with what is going on. So I kind of found a workaround for that is that I created a button that if I open it, it has a lot of subtasks, but it just creates pages in my task database. And then for instance, recording the Pack Legacy Challenge, I can quickly navigate to next week. So recording the Pack Legacy Challenge is something I always do on Wednesday. I always have to update my HelloFresh order on Wednesday. On Thursdays, I always go to the office. I always have my stand-up on Thursdays as well with my team. I stream on Mondays, I stream on Wednesdays, and I stream on Fridays. So this very quickly on my Sunday morning, whenever I'm doing my weekly review, allows me to just grab do one click of a button and then drag them to the right place if a meeting has moved in that specific week, or maybe my office day moved from the Thursday to the Tuesday because it made more sense. It allows me to move my recurring appointments. So it gives me the flexibility without having to manually enter all of my recurring tasks every single week. And then lastly, I have a column. It now moved all the way to the bottom because most of my tasks here are kind of clogging it up. But that is one that is called overdue. So if there is ever a task that I had to do yesterday, so let me actually get one from yesterday and put it back to I was still doing this, then you will see that it will show up in my overdue because the due date was yesterday and the status is not done yet. So then it will show here and it will quickly give me an overview of tasks that I might have missed. Maybe I just forgot to put them to done, or maybe I actually still need to do them and I need to reschedule them and figure out when I have time to pick them up again. Something I'm very proud of in my task database is that actually a lot of things can be linked to other databases. And this is something that you will only get if you buy my full Notion template, like the complete bundle of all my templates. Because obviously if you buy them separately, the databases cannot be linked because the templates had to be separate. But if you do get my full Notion dashboard, you will actually be able to link it this way as well. So as you can see, whenever I open a task, I have a task which is sending out Movember forms. And this is linked to my Movember fundraiser event. So whenever I'm on my event page in my experience database, it will also show this task. And it is also related to today's stream because actually I have to send out the forms after today's stream. So it is linked. So if I'm ever on my stream page, I will also be able to see this task. And again, it is also nice to be able to see it here and just link everything together because it kind of creates this ecosystem of creating content is also a task. But making a task, if you also want to write a script and you want to add a thumbnail and all of those things, the task itself would become too big. So now I can kind of keep the script and the thumbnail and everything in my content database that allows me to schedule my content and manage my content calendar. But if I actually have to do tasks like recording a video, I can put it on my task management list. And if all is well, if I click on my Record Notion Tour, it actually has a link to my content database and it links to my Notion Tour page for this specific video. So this is really nice when it comes to being able to click around in your own databases without having to constantly go back to your homepage. So this is something that personally helps me a ton in my productivity. As you can see, I've also have my notes here, so I can even link notes to specific tasks. So if I have a meeting and I've written meeting notes, I can actually link the notes to my task over here, which again allows me to find that note through different routes in my Notion dashboard. There are more properties here that are automatically hidden if they're empty, but if it is linked to a project, well, in this case, it is not linked I could link it to my Notion release. I feel like this, like I said, this is kind of the finish line of this project, so I can link it to my Notion release. If it is linked to a trip, let's say you need to pack, you need to get your passport ready, all of those things, all of those tasks you could actually link to a trip, so that if you go to your trip page, you can see all of the things you still have to organize before that you're ready for that trip. And the events one we saw earlier as well. Then I have my projects, and all of my projects come with a specific template as well. A good example, again, is the Notion release. Let me just open it in full. Every single project has its own little Kanban board that I use filters for. Any task that is linked to the Notion release template. So you can now see that in doing the record Notion tour actually showed up here as well. This is all of the things that I've done to get ready for the Notion release. By the end, this project will actually end tomorrow. So then this project will automatically move to closed projects. And I no longer have to look at it, but this also allows me to kind of see, hey, this project end date is actually tomorrow. Have I done everything that needs to be done for this project? That's how I use my projects. There is kind of this overlap of sometimes an event is a project as well. Sometimes a huge video that I'm working on is a project as well. So that's why I have all of those linked separately. So not every task will be linked to a project, but in the end, they're kind of always linked to an event, to a project, or maybe to a video that I'm working on. Going back to the homepage, I've talked about the content creation dashboard a couple of times now, so let's actually jump into it. I have 2 Kanban boards right as we jump into the content creation dashboard. Again, we can see the Notion tour here. I think I should be moving this to work in progress. And I can change the status to recording, so because that's what we're doing now. And I can quickly see any content that I have upcoming in the 2 weeks. I can see if it's in the right column, and I can check what is upcoming this month. That creates a bit of a longer list, but that allows me to quickly manage, am I doing the right things? Am I on track of things? Do I need to do any extra things, etc. Then I have my full content planning, which contains all of my streams, all of my YouTube videos, all of my TikToks, basically anything I want to schedule. I also have 2 separate tabs for my Twitch streams and for my long and short form. So this is basically TikTok and YouTube, if I want to have a little bit of a less cluttered view of things. But I usually check this, and then I can just click on today really quickly. And we can see today, again, I have that Movember stream that we already saw pop up in my daily dashboard as well. And I can see what is coming up tomorrow, what is coming up like next week. If I move to the next month, I can look a whole month ahead, and I can see, am I actually working on the things that I need to be working on right now? Then I also have a bunch of unscheduled ideas. So whenever we get to a month, I do schedule my content quite far ahead. So as you can see, I already have a lot of plans for 2024, all the way until March 2024. I have ideas. But in April, it starts to get a little bit more empty. What I can do is my unscheduled ideas, I can just drag and drop them to a day where I want to film them. If I say, you know what, I actually don't want to do that, I can just drag it back. Again, I use a lot of filters in my Notion to get all of these things done. If you get my templates, all of the filters should be set up correctly, so you should be able to start using them right away. Then I also have my content notebook, so all of the notes that are linked to my content notebook. I will show you how that is organized on my notes and knowledge dashboard. And I have all of my projects that are related to content creation. So again, linking specific databases back on the dashboard where it's relevant, so that I have all of the information that I need to do my work or to get my life organized in one place. Then over here, I have a bunch of tabs. I have my stream stats. That's where I kind of keep track of how my streams are performing, because I'm doing both gameplay streams and co-working streams. So if you ever want to have someone to body double with and to do the Pomodoro method with, I do co-working streams. But I keep track of those stats. And I have my business finance, which is also one that doesn't come in my template. I'm not going to show you. I will do a whole separate video probably next year on how much money I make as a content creator, where my income streams come from, but also how much cost I have as a content creator. So you can get an honest picture of what my finances are like being a part-time content creator. The sponsor database does come with my template, and it basically has an overview of all the sponsors that I have and what kind of sponsor they are. So for instance, I am a Notion affiliate. If you ever want to get Notion Pro, you can also use the link in the description box down below, meaning that if you sign up for a full year of Notion, I get a little commission from the price that you pay, which supports my effort here on YouTube, which supports my efforts as a content creator in general. So thank you if you want to do that. If you ever want to get Notion Pro, feel free to use my affiliate link. I try to keep track of all of this so that I always know who I'm working with. And if I am making a specific video, I can even link the sponsor to that video so so that it's easy for me to keep track if a video is sponsored by a certain company and I have to do specific things to make that video successful. Again, I'm not going to deep dive into all of the templates that I have behind this database because I have different templates for YouTube videos and Twitch streams, etc. But I will do that when I do a deep dive into my content creation dashboard. You can also see I have a tab for my merch designs. This contains all the information that I need to remember for designing my merchandise. I have a dashboard that I share with my editor. So my editor actually works on my Pack Legacy Challenge videos. I do gameplay videos for The Sims on my other channel. And this is where we work together. This is a very bare bones dashboard. We mainly use it so he has a separated overview where he doesn't have to see all of my videos, but he can just see all of my Pack Legacy and we can kind of keep track. For me, they will show up in my daily or like my upcoming 2 weeks as well. So I mostly manage them from here, but he uses the Pack Legacy dashboard. Then my content database, that is the main database that is feeding all of these overviews that you see on the dashboard itself. I very rarely use the database itself, but if you do get my template, it will come with the database and you can populate it either in the table or on the dashboard itself. And then I have a quick content idea dump. This is mostly for my mobile dashboard. It is just a page. That's it. It's just a page where I can dump ideas, and then once in a while, I move these ideas into the actual database as an idea that, or like a video that I can work on. But this just allows me to dump it more easily when I'm on the go, because sometimes I don't feel like going into my whole database and adding a page, etc. Then for my work dashboard, it is relatively simple for the reason that most of my work is actually managed in Outlook and in Teams. So whenever I have to collaborate with my colleagues in my day job, I do that not in Notion. But Notion is personally for me the place where I store my notes and I still keep track of my own work. I have a little reminder for myself, either I run the day or the day runs me. That's a very project management related quote. Then I have my notebooks that are related to my job. So you can see I have my portfolio management notebook, my RIP Lift notebook, which is one of my projects that I'm working on, my internal project management team, and my professional development. And basically you could see all of these pages as actual pages in my notebooks. And every single time I want to jolt something down or something that I need to remember, I put it in here. This is again linked to my notes and knowledge dashboard. Then I have my running projects, kind of similar to what we've seen on the content creation dashboard. Here we can see that any of the projects that are currently ongoing, I have over here. Only if they're related to my top desk job, you will be able to see them here. So that's the 2 projects. Again, notes can be linked to projects as well. So everything kind of, it is truly an ecosystem where everything ends up being linked to each other. That did take me a long time to set up. So if you are interested in using a similar system like I am, I can highly recommend purchasing the whole full Notion bundle, because then all of the templates and everything is already linked. Whereas if you buy the templates separately, you'll have to go in and add relationships to all the databases yourself. Then this is something I've already shown in my productivity system video, but this is basically my year overview. I will have to update this when 2024 comes around, but it's just a quick overview of whatever I'm doing in that month related to work. Basically, I only put really big events in here. So if I'm taking a holiday or if there's a big deadline coming up, this is just mainly for myself. The more times I write it out, Outlook can get really overwhelming. So this is kind of the highlights from my Outlook calendar throughout a whole year. And then I can just kind of click what is happening. So yeah, that basically is my work dashboard. Then we get to the notes and knowledge dashboard. Here you can see all of my notebooks again. So here you cannot see the ones that I just showed you, but you can also see my personal one and my content creation one, which basically contains all of the pages that I've just added here for stuff that I want to remember. This doesn't contain anything that I want to remember long term, so like my knowledge hub. For my knowledge hub, I have it below here. It comes from the same database, so both from my notes database, but I've also kind of organized it by where it comes from. So I have Twitter, books, online articles, courses, and YouTube videos. This is a very, very new part of my Notion. I've only been using this for the past like 1.5 months. So as you can see, it is still a bit empty, but I expect this to be far more populated by the end of 2024. So I'm very curious to make a video again by the end of next year where I can kind of show you how this dashboard has evolved and grown since then. There is also a tab called courses, and you can see there is a separate database for courses as well. So I have courses I want to follow, scheduled, following, and completed. Again, this is quite empty. I expect to populate this in the coming month, for the simple reason that I'm currently looking into what courses I want to follow in 2024. But if you do have a course, you can actually add the dates, and you can see that it says add notes. So you can link notes to courses, and then they will also show up over here. So it basically means that if you're following any courses, any long-term notes that you have stored will either be linked in your Knowledge Hub under your Courses tab, or you will be able to find them in the actual course page itself, where you can see all of the linked notes that were related to this course. That basically covers the Notes and Knowledge dashboard. It's quite a simple one. There's a fun little one for books, but I will show you that when we get to the Experience dashboard. Then my Intentions and Goals dashboard. I feel like I've shown this one quite extensively in my productivity system video, so I won't deep dive into this now, but this is the template that is free for the whole month of December. So if you are interested, make sure to pick it up with the link down below. But this basically contains my desired routine for the whole year, my goals, and then I have separated those in different parts of my life. So my career, my experiences, my financial goals, my mental health goals, my relationship. Basically, all of these goals are in here. These were my goals for 2023. I think I want to make a brand new video in 2024 where I'm kind of like putting all of my goals into my dashboard together with you guys so you can see my process of goal setting. And then my habits, things that I want to reach. A lot of these things I am working on. I think that specifically the working out once a week and my daily step goal will move to 2024 with me for the simple reason that due to my health issues, these have been fully neglected, but I will be working on these next year. And I think this is one that this has a lot to do with me using Notion more effectively. So I think I might be able to also get this habit in before the end of the year. And I'm currently working on these two. Again, the journaling once a week, Notion is helping massively in this. Speaking of journaling, that's a very nice segue into my journal page. I have a couple of different journals, I would say, but they're kind of all linked up to each other. So first is my health journal, and this basically contains all of my daily health pages. So I will show you what happens. Today is a pretty good day, so I can click with the button, I can quickly add what kind of day it is, and then I click here, the entry date is automatically filled because I do this every day. I can change the title. I tried to write like a little title that allows me to see very quickly what kind of day it was. I can adjust this still, but it's automatically filled because I clicked it was a good day. Then I can write why it was a good day, what my pain score was like. So let's say my pain score today is 4. I'm filming today, so I'm really happy about that. Then I have my pain types. So everything that I experience for my body. Again, I have health issues, so this will probably not be as extensive for everyone, but it's great for if you're a person who's dealing with health issues to keep track of how you're feeling and maybe what types of things influence your pain. So I have all of these options. So I can say, let's say I had a headache and ear pain, but that was it. I have my moods. So today I was feeling very creative and happy and excited because I'm filming a Notion video. I didn't take any painkillers. I worked from home and I was gonna stream, and it is nice weather outside, so I'm probably also gonna take a walk. The weather today was very cold, but it is sunny and dry. I got about 7 hours of sleep. I took 2,000 steps, which is very little because I'm working from home all day. I had 2 liters to drink. My happy moment of today was that I got to film Notion video and my weekly review. I can link it to a week, so we're currently in week 48, and that's it. If I want, I can write more. If I'm feeling in the mood for actual journaling and I want to report on my day and write what I've done, I can use the page for that. However, I noticed personally for me, having to write in a journal was a huge threshold for me, and that ended up in me not ever writing in a journal. So I just created this kind of little survey for myself that I can fill out every day. It literally takes me 5 minutes to do this every single evening, which allows me to still keep track of the most important things I want to keep track of. And it also allows me a space that if I feel like if I have a very full head, I can still journal if I want to. Then I have my weekly reviews, which is where at the end of the week, I kind of look back on the week. I can see all of the journal pages that I've entered. So I can see very quickly already, I have had 3 good days this week. So it's pretty good week. I can write a weekly reflection, so I can write on things that I like that I did or things that I want to change next week. I can fill the entry date. Usually that will be a Sunday because I usually do my weekly reviews on Sunday. I can give the total week a score. So this week was a great week. We give it a 9. I can rate how busy I was because usually for me, a lot of my health things coincide with how busy I've been. But this week was moderately busy, so I'll give it a 7. Then the highlights of the week, that's basically, I get to pick 1 or 2 things that were really, really big highlights of my week, something that I really enjoyed, something that I want to be able to easily look back on and be like, oh yeah, that was then. Oh my God, that was so cool. And then I can write down any sources of stress. So it's basically the highlights and the sources of stress, because also that allows me when I'm looking back at my whole year to see, hey, do I have a consistent source of stress which pops up every week? because maybe then I need to fix that thing. So that's how I do my weekly reviews. And then I have one last thing, which is my gratitude journal, which again, I didn't want to make this a thing where I have to write a lot, but I rely on pictures very heavily. So what I did is I actually made this sort of, how do you call this? Like kind of a digital post-it board. That's it. It just contains pictures, little text, and whenever I want to add an extra gratitude thing, I just do this, I say duplicate, and I add it over here. It just contains all of these small moments where I felt like I was really happy, where something made me feel seen or loved or creative or excited. That made me feel gratitude. But as you can see, there was a lot of people that I got to meet at TwitchCon. So there's a lot of things or a lot of pictures in here about me at TwitchCon, traveling with my boyfriend in the US, all of those things. And I tried to keep this updated like once every 2-3 weeks. I don't really put pressure on myself to keep this updated. It's just for myself that whenever I want to look back at the year, I can just scroll through this and realize how many freaking amazing things I've done and how many cool people I got to meet. So it's a little post-it gratitude journal. This one does not come in the template for the journal, by the way, for the simple reason that it is not really a template. I felt very bad putting that in there and saying, hey, this is a template that you're getting. It's just a page with a call out, and that's it. Then we get to my experience dashboard. I have referenced this multiple times, but basically my experience dashboard contains everything that I am currently experiencing. So that can be trips. I don't have any trips upcoming currently. That can be concerts and festivals. I have 2 big concerts coming up and events that is either ongoing or events or upcoming events. So this allows me to quickly see what is going on in my life. If I go to my full trips page, you can actually see all of the trips that I've taken in the past. This dates all the way back. You can't see it really because it's behind my camera, but I have things in here from Paris 2011, Spain 2013. I've tried to really go back and like memorize as many of the trips I've taken over the world and put them all in here, with my most recent one being the US, where I went to TwitchCon in Vegas and I went to Chicago with my boyfriend. And this is also the most populated trip, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like whenever I open a trip page. You can see the country that I visited, the cities that I've seen, the locations that I went to, when the trip was taking place. There's a little countdown, so if it is on my upcoming trips, I can see how many days until the trip, how long it takes. The rating for this one was definitely 5 stars. Can't believe I've rated that one yet. Then there is like a little to-do list. Again, that's all the tasks that are from the to-dos database of the things that you still have to do. My travel itinerary, the places that I was actually going to stay, places that I wanted to visit, things that like events that were planned. Again, so these come from the events dashboard and they're linked in the trip itself. This is like my pride and joy. I really enjoy planning trips. And I love going on trips, but planning trips like this is also very satisfying. I have a packing list. Again, this packing list is, by the way, it's a default list that comes with the template, which kind of contains all the basic things that you might need on a trip. So if you are always stressed over making a packing list, if you get my experience dashboard, it will contain a packing list template in the dashboard itself. Then we can see my events. So all the events that I've been to, or all the events that I've wanted to do, they're all in here. Concerts and festivals, you can see all the concerts I've ever been to in my life. So again, I keep track of those here. It's a great way of kind of reminding yourself of all the cool things you're doing, because sometimes in the day-to-day slur, they just get lost. And this is a great way for me to memorize all the cool things I'm doing. Then you can see the films and shows that I'm currently watching, things that I want to watch, things that I have watched. Again, this is not complete. I have watched so much more than this, but I sometimes just sit down and add like some extra things that I just memorize and be like, oh, I think I should actually add those in here as well. This is definitely not done. So what you're seeing here is the least populated version of this, because it just takes a lot of time to add all of this information into Notion. But I will keep it up to date with what I'm currently watching and all of those things, and also with the things that I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading Court of Wings and Ruin from the ACOTAR series. And like I said, something very fun here is that if you take notes on a specific book, you can actually link your notes over here. And if you're on your notes page, you can link the notes to a book as well. So if you're reading something for a course, or if you're reading something like a self-help book for yourself and you want to take notes, the notes database is linked to the books database. So that way you can kind of keep track in 2 places where you're keeping notes on a specific book. Again, I will do a full in-depth video on my experience dashboard, because there's so much more than I just showed you, but it also contains a full list of countries, cities, locations, creators, There is so much more to show you on this one, but I really, really, really love my experience dashboard. It allows me to kind of just keep track of all the cool things going on in my life and all the cool experiences. Then I have my finance dashboard, which is empty for this year for the simple reason that I haven't really kept track of my personal finances for this year, but I will do that next year. As you can see, I have a little total balance overview where it shows with like my starting balance of the year, the income that I've had, the expenses that I've had, and my final balance of the year. I can track my income per month and I can track my expenses per month. This is the income and expenses template, so if you're interested in this, feel free to pick it up through the description box down below. All the formulas should be set up correctly, so whenever you enter something here, it should show up here, etc. There's a page where I have my budget, which I can't really show you but because it contains some sensitive information. And my wish list, which is basically the place where I keep track of things that I might want to buy at one point in the future. Again, these are sorted by tech, clothes, furniture, games, and other. These are all things that I want to buy in the future at one point. But this, again, is something that I only started using very recently, so it doesn't contain a lot yet. As you can see, I'm a bit of a techie, so the tech one is filled the most. That concludes a full tour of my Notion. I've been recording for nearly an hour, which is absolutely wild, considering that I have not fully done a deep dive in anything. I've just kind of shown the surface of all of the pages. Let me know in the comments down below which in-depth view are you most excited for. Let me know your general thoughts on my Notion pages or anything you would do differently, or if there's anything where you would like to know how I did it, because then I can make sure to keep those things in mind when I'm making future tutorials or like future videos for Notion. If you've made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching all the way through. Make sure to let me know that you've made it to this point in the video by putting your favorite color heart in the comments, because it is engagement, it hugely helped the video, and it's just fun to see how many of you make it to this point of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave the video a cheeky like if you liked it and if you've learned something from it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you don't miss any of the future Notion videos coming out. And with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!